Marty, this is Brian. The only person I've heard from who will not be around is Jordan Hess.
Thank you. That was what I had as well. Sandra, can we do a sound check with you? I'm seeing you in the meeting twice. I want to make sure that we're doing okay with that. Or is somebody else listed as Sandy? Oh, Heather came in as Sandy.
Yeah, Marty, I had to use the same link you sent, Sandy.
Okay. I'm renaming.
Thank you.
Not my dog. Well, that's perfect canine timing. It's 6 o'clock, and I will call the Missoula City Council meeting of July 12th, 2021 to order. This is a Zoom webinar, and you've seen some instructions on how to participate if you're signed in via Zoom or if you're calling in this evening. We have all council members present except for Ms. West, Mr. Hess, and Ms. Becerra. And we have, pardon me, we have no minutes to review this evening, but we do have a schedule of committee meetings. Ms. Raitler. And I will note for the record that Ms. Becerra is present.
I have to note for the record that I can't change Heather's name in the monitor. Tried multiple times, but Zoom's just not cooperating. Heather, if you can try. And I'll share my screen and we'll go through this committee schedule. Here we go. Let's try that. All right. So we're setting up committee meetings for the 14th of July. The Administration and Finance Committee will from 9 a.m. to 10:15. The Public Works Committee will follow from 10:30 in the morning until 11:30. Budget Committee of the Whole rounds out the day from 12:45 to 12:30. And that's our whole committee schedule this week. Thanks.
Thank you, Ms. Rabine. Are there any changes to the committee schedule this evening?
I was just going to point out 11:45 to 12:30 for Budget Committee. I think Marty misspoke. So for anyone looking for Budget Committee, it's 11:30.
Thank you, sir.
It's 11:30, not 11:45.
Sorry, 11:45. I believe you said 12:45.
Okay, sorry.
All right. With that, we'll move on to the public comment portion of our agenda. This is your opportunity to comment on items not elsewhere on the agenda this evening. And seeing no hands up among our participants this evening, we'll move on to our consent agenda. Items there were approved by council committees and sent to the consent agenda to save a little time on Mondays by voting on these items as a package. Ms. Rabine will read the list of consent agenda items aloud so those watching via the many methods of viewing our council meetings can see what we're considering. We'll take comment on these items before we vote. Ms. Rabine.
Again, I'll move my camera over here.
And I will note that Ms. West is here for the record.
Thank you.
Oh, I see we do have one public comment before you get started, Marty. Mr. Larson?
Hi, yes, City Council, Mr. Mayor. This meeting isn't listed on the calendar on the website. I just wanted you to be aware of that. So I don't know how people have been publicly noticed for this meeting, but that's neither here nor there. I'll talk again if there's claims, but yeah, I just wanted to give you a notice that yeah, it's not even on the calendar for today at all. Including when you click past events. So yeah, there's that. I'll comment on claims later. Thank you.
Thank you. And Diane Stenson Bickers?
I had no trouble finding the meeting on the public website, so just so you know.
Oh, thank you. All right, seeing no additional comment, back to that consent agenda, Ms. Rapine.
Alrighty, tonight's consent agenda has, I think, 80 items. Hang on. I had that before I jumped out to make sure it was published on the calendar on our website. The first item is to ratify accounts payable in the amount of $933,672.01 for checks that are dated July 6th of 2021. We ratify claims this week because we didn't have a meeting last week. Number 2 is to approve accounts payable in the amount of $1,536,716.36 for checks that are dated July 13th of 2021. Number 3 is to approve and authorize the mayor to sign a professional services agreement with WGM Group for the Russell Commuter Trail Crossing at a cost not to exceed $28,315. Number 4 is to adopt a resolution of Missoula City Council of the City of Missoula, Montana, vacating a 14.5-foot wide by 31-foot long public utility easement and a 12-foot, hang on, I need to expand this. This is a lot longer and doesn't show on my screen. And a 12.5-foot wide and 20-foot long public utility easement crossing lots 9, 10, and 12 of block number 6 of the Mill Site Subdivision Phase 1, Wyoming North, as recorded in the Missoula County Clerk and Recorder's Office in Missoula, Montana. Number 5 is also a vacation of a utility easement. Council is being asked to adopt a resolution of the Missoula City Council of the City of Missoula vacating a 20-foot wide by 118.73-foot long public utility easement crossing lot 2 of the Hanson Edition number 2, as recorded in the Missoula County Clerk and Recorder's Office in Missoula, Montana. Number 6 is to set a public hearing for July 19th of 2021 to adopt a resolution regarding the 2021 Montana State Legislature's proposal, debate, and passage of HB 112 and proposal and debate of HB 113 and HB 427, finding those actions to be ill-informed and damaging to Montana youth, their families, and their community, and declaring that the Missoula City Council supports transgender and all LGBTQ+ youth living within our community. Number 7 is to adopt a resolution of the Missoula City Council requesting the Missoula County Commissioners adopt a resolution and referral to the people of Missoula County for authorization of a local option marijuana excise tax of up to 3%. And finally, number 8 is to approve and authorize the mayor to sign the agreement with MMW for architectural design services in the remodel of Missoula Municipal Court to create a 3rd courtroom in an amount in accordance with the rate schedule and not to exceed 10% of overall construction costs.
Thank you, Ms. Rabine. Questions or comments from council members? Ms. Merritt?
First, I want to note for the record that this meeting is clearly published on the calendar. I went to the same place I always do every single time, and it's right there. I also want to note for the record that I will be abstaining from voting on a couple items on the consent agenda. Marty, I think I originally indicated to you just 5.3, but I realized that I need to abstain from 5.3, 5.4, and 5.5 as WGM Group is involved in all three of those. So sorry to make your record keeping difficult.
Thank you, Ms. Merritt. And Ms. Hart?
I got renamed to Heather Harp, and I'm not sure how that happened.
Oh, okay, sorry. Ms. Wasika?
Thanks. I would like to separate 5.2 because of the water legal fees, and 5.7 because of the marijuana, local options marijuana tax. And may I speak to that briefly?
You may.
Thank you. Like I mentioned in committee meetings last week, I do not agree with the local options marijuana tax. I like all of the excise and taxes, like the alcohol tax, tobacco tax, marijuana tax, even though I don't partake in most of those items. I just believe that it's passing an additional cost onto our consumers. It impacts a lot of our low income folks even more than what our property taxes are already at. And I just think it's another opportunity to tax our constituents. It's just any opportunity that the city sees to tax our constituents, they'll jump right at, and I disagree with that. So I will be not supporting that tonight.
And Mr. Ramos?
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. I just wanted to, and did you divide the question, Ms. Wasika, on 5.2 as well?
Yes, I want to vote on those two separately, 5.2 and 5.7.
Okay, Mr. Ma-
Got your frozen in
Am
time.
I still
Mr.
live?
Ramos.
My computer. Okay, can you hear me now?
You can.
All right, good. You're not going to want to miss this. I promise you. I just wanted to speak also to the marijuana tax issue. I know I missed it in committee on Wednesday, but I wanted to state first and foremost, I understand that we're just putting this on the ballot. But like always, I truly believe that we're taking advantage of the kindness of Missoulians when we put these things on the ballot. When we put things on the ballot, I think the folks in Missoula, they trust us to only come to them as a last measure, as a last resort, that we've expended all other options in raising money. And once again, I don't think that we've come anywhere close to doing that. These voters in Missoula that are voting for this, I think are voting for with the belief that we're asking them for this money because we are truly broke. And that is just not true. They believe this is urgent, and I think that we're taking advantage of that. And in addition, I'm certainly not pro-drug by any stretch, but I'm anti-drug war, and I'm certainly anti-sin tax. I don't think people should have to pay a fee to the government for permission to use a substance that they, as consenting adults, want to use. Just like gambling, alcohol, tobacco, etc. I get that I have a lot of problems with a lot of people over these taxes, but at the end of the day, this has come before me right now as elected official, and I'm going to be speaking against it because I don't think it's right. As Ms. Wasika said, a lot of folks that are using these, they might have an addiction to it, they might have a dependence on it, they might use it just because their life is so crummy at the moment, and I don't think that we should be financially punishing them for that decision either. And I know that I disagree with a lot of my fellow conservatives on this issue, but I think that this is just another area where the government sees dollar signs where they shouldn't. They should see governance, they should see freedom, they should see liberty. If somebody chooses to do this, I don't think they should have to pay a fee to the mob to use those. So To me, this is also an issue of growing government. The government just can't seem to keep its hands out of the cookie jar. And this is just another example of that. This preys on our most vulnerable population. And this thing hasn't even been legalized yet, and we're already trying to tax it. I mean, yes, in theory, it's been legalized, but you can't buy it until next year, and we're already trying to tax it. So to me, this is just very unfortunate. The vote down is a predatory tax, and in addition to that, I think that we shouldn't even be bringing this to the ballot. It's one thing if citizens want to do this by signature initiative, but like so many issues, this has been government initiative, not citizen initiative. So in any event, I will stop rambling. I will also be voting no on 5.2 because of about $250,000 of further legal fees going to Perkins Coie, an out-of-state firm for the water company once again. So thank you for your time. I hope this all came.
And Ms. Jones.
Thanks. Couple of things. First of all, I just want to clarify that it's not legal fees, it's legal costs. This is a binding arbitration bad faith case, which is very different. So costs are very different from fees. And we've discussed this quite a bit in council, had many presentations, and this council has supported that in the past. So I am happy to be supporting it now. And regarding the marijuana tax, actually, I think people in Missoula are quite supportive of having a local option sales tax that could benefit our city budget in numerous ways. It's all a choice whether people want to buy it or not. And frankly, it's a luxury. And if they want to do it, I'm totally fine with having a very small tax on there. And this is approved and given to us as a tool by our legislature. So I don't have a problem with it at all. I think it's a really good choice for council to go forward with this, and I look forward to seeing what the city of Missoula says, because I think they'll think it through and do what they want to do on it. So I'm very much in support of it.
And Ms. Anderson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I, as Ms. Jones said, also will be supporting the marijuana local option. And I really wish we wouldn't call it a tax. It's simply a fee. It's a user fee. If you choose to purchase legalized marijuana, you will have an additional fee on top of that. And I think it's important to note that how marijuana came to be on the ballot in the first place was a signature gathering collection by statewide. For folks to put this on the ballot in 2020 to be even voted on by the citizens of the state of Montana, they had to go collect signatures, and to get enough signatures to then get it on the ballot. And then it was passed overwhelmingly. And then the bill that made all the legalese passed through the Republican-held state Senate, State House, and signed into law by a Republican governor. So this isn't the government overstretching, going for a cookie jar. I think it's pretty straightforward, and there is no data supporting that only one socioeconomic class utilizes legalized marijuana. It goes beyond and crosses all socioeconomic boundaries, all demographics, and the fact that we are having this opportunity to diversify our tax and fee base to do good with it. I think the voters of Missoula will see that those who want to partake in the legalization at the legalized recreational activity, and a tiny little bit of it goes to helping out the larger Missoula community, I think Missoulians will see that and self-select to impose a tiny fee upon themselves with this. So I will be in support.
Ms. Cheryl.
Yeah, thanks. Just a reminder, we're voting here to whether to support or not having this put on the ballot by the county commissioners. I think that when we have the opportunity to give our constituents the ability to decide if they want that tax, I think we should. And I disagree with some comments that were made about our constituents. I think they are educated and they're smart voters. I think they will take this very seriously and consider it. And I'm fully in support of letting the voters decide.
And Ms. Vasika.
Thanks. In no way did I say that only one one social economic class uses these items. I'm just saying that if there is an additional tax on it, the ones that are using it that are of the lower income will be burdened more. Of course, people use all the sins, the tobacco, alcohol, marijuana, from every count of life, and every level uses them. So in no way did I say that. And I also wanted to point out that the marijuana legal marijuana is also already will be taxed at the state level. This is just going to be an additional tax at the local level. So it'll already be taxed, and then this is just an additional tax to tax it even more. Wanted to point that out.
Seeing no further discussion on the consent agenda, we have one commenter in the audience, Mr. Larson.
Yes, this is Matt Larson, City Council and Mayor. I'd like to get a little bit of an extension here because I wasn't prepared to talk as I was trying to find the listing for this thing, which very much is not on the website. I know that you all can attest to being able to be here on some capacity. Like if you couldn't find it, you obviously wouldn't be here in the first place. But those of us plebes in the public do have some difficulty with it. That's neither here nor there. I'd also like to point out and thank all the dissenting votes here on the Perkins Coie $200,000 plus charge. As well as I'd like to point out the robotics, the Throwbot for $16,000 being purchased by MPD. The Throwbot is made by a military contractor. I forget where they're based out of, I believe Salt Lake City, Utah. And it's just another part and parcel of how the city council, by and large, is over militarizing our police. We do not have Narcan with our cops. We don't do a lot of stuff for the lower class people of this city. It's not just an extra tax on pot, which is already taxed at 20%. This is real. There's 350 overdoses from fentanyl and opiates in the city of Missoula every year. And I also wanted to let the city know that I filed a policy complaint against MPD for the lack of use of their video cameras. This comes to us as you guys previously spent $300,000 to get them new tasers. That's after an $80,000 grant from the Department of Justice to get new tasers. So this is all part and parcel of a gigantic shell game on the part of the city. And it's really embarrassing to see you guys try and tint it with rose-colored glasses. And it's actually very disgusting to all of us here. So also, free Brandon Bryant. Congratulations on the not guilty on the Brandon Bryant case, because that was utterly ridiculous too. And it's just another onslaught of relentless slamming of the lower class citizens of this city.
Point of order. That's not on the consent agenda, which is what he's commenting on.
Thank you, Ms. Jones. Got about a minute left, Mr. Larson.
I just like you guys to acknowledge that this is an egregious misuse of money. And thank you for extending me, and thank you for not cutting me off. I am still currently banned. I did actually receive a capital assets list from the city as well, which very much does have to do with budgeting. I would agree that you guys should put stuff onto the ballot, as that's the only way us plebe citizens get to have any say in our budget, because the budgeting process is only a net zero process where we can only look at new additions. We are not allowed to see anything under the hood. As of today, I finally got the capital assets list that I've been asking for 6 months, and only after I threatened to have Lee Griffin contact my lawyer directly. So it's just another hurdle,
Point of order. I don't think this is on the consent agenda either, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah,
we're working on the consent agenda right now.
Ms. Jones, I just cut Mr. Larson off. I'll take care of it. Seeing no additional public comment, we will move on to a vote. And this thing is divided every way to Sunday. Ms. Rabine, so I'll let you manage that.
Thank you. Let's do a vote on items 1, 6. Let's see what else is left here. Went down too fast. 1, 6, and 8. So those are the items that weren't removed from the consent agenda. Anderson.
Yes.
Becerra,
Yes.
Contos,
Yes.
Hart,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Merritt,
Yes.
Ramos.
This is everything that wasn't divided, correct? My computer keeps cutting out.
Yes, it is.
Then yes.
Cheryl,
Yes.
Vasika,
Yes.
Von Lossberg,
Yes.
and West.
Yes.
Okay, that is 11 ayes and 1 absent. Now let's go for item number 2, accounts payable, the claims. Becerra,
Yes.
and just a second, this wasn't quite set up the way I'd like it to be. All right, here we go. Contos,
No.
Harp,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Merritt,
Yes.
Ramos,
No.
Cheryl,
Yes.
Vasika,
No.
Van Lossberg,
Yes.
West,
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
Okay, that's 8 ayes, 3 nays, and 1 absent. Let's move to items. Let's do 3 and 4 together. Those are the ones I think.
Marty.
Oh, sorry.
4, 5.
3, 4, 5. Let's do 3, 4, 5 together. These are the items that have WGM in them. Contos,
Yes.
Hart,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Merritt,
I abstain.
you, Ramos,
Yes.
Cheryl,
Yes.
Vasika,
Yes.
Van Lossberg,
Yes.
West,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
Becerra.
Yes.
Would any of you like to change your vote? That is 10 ayes, 1 abstention, and 1 absent. And number 7, that's the resolution on the marijuana option. Harp,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Merritt,
Yes.
Ramos,
No.
Cheryl,
Yes.
Vasika,
No.
Van Lossberg,
Yes.
West,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
Becerra,
Yes.
Contos.
No.
Would any of you like to change your vote? That is 8 ayes and 3 nays.
Ms. Anderson, you have a hand up?
I do. If I can make a quick comment, point of personal privilege, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to remind my colleagues that to be nice to our city clerk, to please, if you're going to divide the question, let her know ahead of time and don't do it on the fly here on Monday nights. It just makes it harder for her. We have the agenda starting Friday afternoon, so there's plenty of time for everyone to look over and decide if they need things to be divided. So just wanted to point that out on behalf of Marty, because it makes it harder, and her hard job is hard enough as it is.
All right. We have all the votes tackled and the consent agenda somehow got approved. We have no comments this evening from city staff, agencies, boards, commissions, authorities, nor the community forum. We have 2 special presentations in the form of proclamations. First, whereas the National Interagency Fire Center is predicting above average significant wildfire potential throughout our region in 2021, and whereas our recently adopted Climate Ready Missoula plan found that our summers are becoming hotter and drier, wildfire smoke is a growing risk, and we need to enact strategies to mitigate them. And mitigate harm. And whereas wildfire smoke is a serious public health threat that causes worsened asthma attacks, decreased lung function, worsened COPD symptoms, increased susceptibility to infectious disease, increased risk of heart attack and stroke, and increased hospitalizations and death. And whereas wildfire smoke can come indoors, creating unhealthy conditions both outside and inside. And whereas during periods of heavy wildfire smoke, it is possible to protect public health by creating cleaner indoor air spaces, reducing outdoor activities, and checking in on friends, family, and neighbors. And whereas public outreach focused on the dangers of wildfire smoke and how individuals can protect themselves and others play an important role in community preparedness during wildfire season, now therefore be it resolved, we, the Missoula County Board of Commissioners in the city of Missoula, do hereby proclaim July 12th through July 18th as Wildfire Smoke Ready Week to inform and educate Missoula city and county residents of the hazard that wildfire smoke presents and how to prepare and stay healthy as individuals, families, neighbors, and as a community. And that's signed by me and the Missoula County Commissioners. I'll note that interagency fire team is meeting on Wednesday, and we're likely to move to restrictions at that time, probably stage 2, as the weather and conditions continue to present challenges for us. It's summer in Missoula, as it turns out, and it's smoky. Next, folks. Whereas in-home healthcare services allow seniors to stay in a comfortable, dignified environment closer to their families in the communities they spent their lives building. And whereas providing direct care in a small, individualized setting is an important tool in combating the spread of infectious diseases, including coronavirus. And whereas caregivers have been on the front line of fighting the pandemic, making extraordinary sacrifices to protect the places and people they serve. And whereas there is a critical need for increased federal funding to stabilize the long-term care system, increase wages, and provide professional training to better meet the present and future needs of our community. And whereas the city of Missoula remains committed to creating high-skilled, good-paying jobs to protect our most vulnerable populations, now therefore I, John Engen, Mayor of the city of Missoula and the state of Montana, hereby recognize the 13th day of July 2021 as Caregiver Appreciation Day in Missoula. We have no additional special presentations this evening, nor do we have any public hearings. We don't have any items for final consideration. Communications from the mayor, I will note just a couple of things. The Throwbot that council approved funding for is actually a non-lethal life-saving device that tends to de-escalate situations rather than escalate them. So it's a good piece of technology that keeps more people safe under very challenging circumstances. And I won't attempt to address the rest of those statements, which were challenging as well, but did want to get that piece out there. General comments from council members. We'll start with Ms. Anderson this evening.
Thanks so much, Mr. Mayor. I just actually appreciate you reading the proclamation, can't talk, and want to let the community know that there's actually going to be an event tomorrow, Tuesday, from 12 to 2 at Bonner Park, and it's hosted by SEIU, which is a union that represents a lot of the caregivers in our community, and it will be an opportunity to uplift and thank those caregivers, as well as to take an opportunity to ask Congress to continue to fund and find better ways to fund the important work that they do, and to encourage that we pass the Better Care, Better Jobs Act. So want to encourage all of our community to come out and support the work that these people do. It's critical and integral into the fabric of our community, and they do amazing work and are so often very low paid, and yet they are taking care of the most precious in our community. So 12 o'clock to 2 o'clock tomorrow at the Bonner Park. Encourage everyone to come if it is safe for you to be outdoors, which I know is not now the case for everyone with the smoke that we are having. Thanks so much.
Mr. Ramos. Mr. Ramos.
Is it? Hello?
Mr. Ramos? Oh, do you have any comment? I'll take that as a pass. Ms. Merritt.
Thanks, Mayor. I wanted to bring to everyone's attention the fact that this month in July, we are celebrating the 31st anniversary of the Americans with Disabilities Act. Summit Independent Living sponsored a picnic today out at the Meadowlark Shelter that I was able to attend, and it was wonderful to see people in person again and get to see some folks that I hadn't seen in a long time. I also want to encourage people to attend the Out to Lunch on July 28th, as Summit Independent Living is sponsoring the Out to Lunch that day. And we will be celebrating our neighbors with disabilities at that time. And I'm actually going to put in a plug for allowing council to have an hour for lunch that day so that we can go to Out to Lunch. But I'll follow up with an email on that as well. Thanks everybody for their time.
Thanks, Ms. Barrett. Ms. Jones. Ms. Hart.
Thanks, Mayor. I'd like to share that this week, Thursday morning at 8:30 in the morning, Habitat for Humanity will be hosting their ICF Demonstration Day. ICF stands for Insulated Concrete Forms, and as an organization who for the last 30 years has built with sticks, we've decided that in order to simplify our building process and ease the fact that we have a labor shortage, we want to try and make it a little bit easier, but also build with more climate resiliency in mind. And concrete provides itself as a very resilient material. So if anybody would like to join us at 8:30 this Thursday, we will be meeting at 514 Montana Avenue, which is out in East Missoula. All are welcome.
And Mr. Contos.
Oh, I was always on. I'm good, thank you.
Mr. Von Osberg.
Pass, thanks.
Ms. Cheryl.
Pass, thank you.
Ms. Vasika.
Thanks. I would like to apologize to Marty for all the confusion earlier today. Stacy is right. I usually do email you, but I didn't this time, and for that I do apologize. I also wanted to say I'm very excited for us to when we do eventually get back to our in-person meetings. It can seem very impersonal having these thoughtful, productive discussions and debates over Zoom, and I'm just very excited for us to be in person again, to have the human emotion, the human interaction with that. And when that does happen, I do encourage everyone to come to council. I know a lot of folks haven't been participating over the past year because of the Zoom difficulties. A lot of folks didn't know how to get onto Zoom or just don't like it altogether, so they don't participate. So when we do get back into person, I would like everyone to come back to their normal selves and come participate in the public process. I also, because it is wildfire season, everyone please look over your homeowners and your renters insurance policies, make sure you're properly covered. And then I finally wanted to congratulate Brandon Bryant on his acquittal. Thank you.
And Ms. West.
No comments.
And Ms. Becerra.
Thank you. I just wanted to let everyone know, in case you don't, that on Wednesday, June 14th, is the grand opening of the Missoula County Public Library. And if you hadn't had a chance to go, please visit. It's amazing. And I just want everyone to know. And if you can take part of some of the activities and celebrations that are planned for that day, I believe they're open from 1 to 8 p.m. on Wednesday. If you can, do take a stroll through the library. It's beautiful. Thanks.
All right, we have no committee reports this evening, folks, nor do we have any items for final consideration. No new business. Are there any additional items to be referred tonight? Seeing none of those, how about any miscellaneous communications, petitions, reports, or announcements? Seeing none, as always, I thank you for your service. We will be adjourned.